What's up, Marco? Trying to get some stuff ready to do a little work. If I remember how. So we got in these belts here. We got a bunch of abrasive belts in, but I don't remember what half of them are. What's up, Josh? Crispy. Might be a little loud, guys. The little windy outside. Didn't feel bad outside, but I come in here, man, it sounds like a gorilla's beating on the side of the building with a 50-gallon drum. This is an awesome shop, but it's not insulated, so sound, it gets very loud in here. Cleaning up some edges before I have to start the hand sanding, what have you. Working on these, I got an order for 10 thugs headed to Alaska. It should have been there 2 months ago, in all honesty, but it is what it is. So I'm trying to get those finished up. I really need to get those finished up before I do anything else. Unfortunately, you know, you have time in between processes that you can work on other stuff, so I've been able to get a little other stuff done. But I got some pretty bad news on this foot. Apparently, it's not going to get much better. It may improve some. There's really not much they can do about it. So I'm kind of stuck with a limp, not being near as mobile as I need to be. But I guess it could be worse. Could be the ground. But it does seriously hinder the amount of time I can be on it. I gotta go get fitted for this special boot. I They say it's going to help some. It's not going to fix it by any means, but not really concerned about the comfort. I've lived most of my life in pain. It's really more concerned about if it just gets me a little more time that I can be up and about. I don't have a small wheel on my grinder, so. You know, to be honest with you guys, I've had a lot of people ask me, why I haven't upgraded some of my equipment. Well, my health is why. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars buying a bunch of equipment and then, by next year not be able to use it at all. I'm sure there'll come a time when you watch these videos and I'll have to lower this working surface so that I can do all this sitting down. I'm not looking forward to that. But I guess that'll be the next step. Because I really don't want to quit what I'm doing. This is very rough, guys. It's just shape. That's all I've got. I still got to put pins in it and a lanyard tube. Some of that I can do at home. So what I've got to do here, I'm going to get that done, take these back home, work on them some more. We'll shred carbon fiber. Gotta grab some PPE. Give me a second. Get a little dust mask. This carbon fiber dust is not good for you. bad thing about these masks is it blows when I exhale, it blows it up onto my glasses. Yeah, it's a half mask, Marco. Clearly made for little Chinese people or something. But it makes me breathe up onto my glasses and fogs my glasses up. So that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I don't remember what grit. Oh, these are 120. Nice, pretty purple belt. In case you're wondering about this color scheme, this was not planned. These Tiffany pins were not supposed to end up glued into this. That was an unfortunate accident. But now I gotta cut them off and drill them out. Again, I apologize about the glares, guys. I just don't have the money to buy a new phone right this minute. This one's almost done. Well, see if I can get the bandsaw to work. Switch is going out on this thing. I really want to get a foot switch for it anyway. I've drawn up some new kitchen knives I'm pretty excited about. It's going to be a little bit before they're ready though, so I don't want to show them yet. You got one of them Milwaukee saws. That one belonged to Meathead. He gave it to me. Well, I don't want to say he gave it to me, but it's what I've got to use anyway. It works good, does what I need it to do, but the switch is going out on it. We put new rollers and all that stuff on it before I ever even started using it. I bought one of those swag off-road tables. I'm sure you guys have seen them advertised on your Instagram. It's $100 for this metal plate that's pre-drilled for your saw to bolt to. So you can just mount it in a vise, or you can put legs on it. I'm gonna put legs on this. The only issue is you have to take all these bolts out and completely remove the saw to change the blade. You can't change the blade with it mounted to the table. It's a little aggravating, I ain't gonna lie, but it does work good. It does exactly what they say it'll do. They don't mention all that when you buy it either. In case you're wondering about this handle material, this is something I make myself. I'm not aware of any other makers using it. But I don't really have an official name for it other than what it actually is. And that is Scotch-Brite micarta. I don't know if the blue Scotch-Brite pad is showing up under this light or not. It doesn't look like it is. Excuse me. Anyway, it's really pretty when it's finished, and it's also a very tough handle material. So I appreciate it for that. What's up, Gareth? Anyway, so we get this shaped. I got to get these. I don't think those Tiffany blue pins look very good on that red shredded carbon fiber. So they got to come out. But I'm going to get it shaped up first. I want to grind all that off. Let me cut this excess off. It's weird how when you've been out of the shop for a little bit, you kind of get I don't know, man, you just kind of lose a rhythm in your processes. That has certainly happened. But it doesn't seem like anything really comes naturally. So this is the most expensive thug I've ever made. It's not done yet. This belongs to Paul Mills. This is in red shred carbon fiber and very thin S125V. Just this stick of metal. All knife steel is too expensive, but you don't know what expensive is until you get into S125V. Anything that's, and I don't even think it has anything to do with what it costs to produce it. I think it's just the rarity of it. Because like you can't buy a big stick. You have to buy, you know, these smaller pieces and try to make them work. Well, I got one out. See if we can get the other one. That's not good. It's fixable though. So both scales came loose. Luckily, they didn't break. I've got some new, supposed to be better, stronger epoxy at the house, so I can re-epoxy those. Nothing lost there. I've got some new scales I made. These are kind of a test project. These are red shred carbon fiber, but I don't know if I have enough carbon fiber in them. So I'm going to cut into this and see what it looks like. I don't even care if I ruin this. I just want to see what it looks like on the inside when I cut into it. And I need more plugs. Constantly plugging and unplugging. Probably not going to really know until I get this home and get some finer sandpaper cleaned up more to see what it actually is really going to look like. Because I don't have anything high enough grit here. So this is what I was worried about, is like these random pieces of shredded carbon fiber just poking out. Like there's a piece there, some there. So this might not work, but I mean, I wasted like $10 making that. So if it don't work out, it don't work out. It ain't no big deal. I didn't have a whole lot to do today here at the shop. I've got to take all these home now and, you know, start the hand sanding and rubbing and trying to pretty everything up. Anyway, where's my little brush at? Here's a little table brush. There it is. I'm hoping you guys are as excited about this Pro Cut as I am, because I've bought a bunch of it. Like, I have plenty of Pro Cut. I can make almost anything. I've got all different thicknesses. So far from everything I've tested, I'm really liking it. I think it's going to be a great addition to our steel choices. Unless you're worried about corrosion resistance, because it doesn't have any. I'm about to do some chef's knives, and I'm going to acid wash and tumble them, but they're still going to require some user responsibility. Like you're going to have to take care of those knives, or they're going to patina up on you, possibly even rust. But, you know, that's just the way it is. Yeah, meathead does. Man, I don't know what I'd do without meathead. I wouldn't be here doing this right now, that's for sure. You go through life and you make friends, and you know, there are people who kind of tickle your fancy as far as, you know, are they fun to hang around and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, sometimes we're way too quick to label that as friends. Well, how many times I've caught myself saying a friend of mine. That's probably not the accurate description, because in all honesty, I don't have that many friends. I've got acquaintances, I've got people I like talking to, people I hang out with, people I even trust to some extent. But that 3 o'clock in the morning call from the county jail, or, you know, you don't have many of those. Recently I was at the doctor, had my ringer off on my phone, and my daughter called, and I didn't answer it. Luckily she was smart enough to immediately hang up and call Meathead. To tell him that she was at work with a flat tire and didn't know what to do. Because she didn't have a spare in the car. She didn't even know. It's kind of my fault. I should have checked that. But Meathead walked her through it. He had to go back in the store, buy a can of fixed flat, put in the tire. He called the tire store, gave them the size, you know, to make sure they had what she needed. And they did. Very common tire size, just to tell you the Camry. And had her all lined up to just go by there and get her tire changed. And there's no doubt in my mind if she had told him, you know, Uncle Meathead, I don't have the money to buy a tire right now, he would have bought it. But fortunately, she's pretty responsible. And she has a really good work ethic. So she worked her way up into a pretty good job. But all she had to do was pull up, tell them that he had called. They had her tire waiting on her. She didn't even have to get out of the car. They just took care of her right then and there, had her on her way in no time. And that don't sound like much, You know, what he did wasn't hard, but when you get my age, you start thinking about things like that. And it's not what he did that's impressive. It's the fact that my daughter couldn't get a hold of me, and she knew. There's no doubt in her mind. She knew the next step was to call her Uncle Meathead. He's not really her uncle. You know, we might as well be brothers. He took care of her. And like I said, the actual act of what he did is not super impressive. But the fact that she knew in my absence if she needed help, she didn't even have to question who she was going to call or what she was going to do. Like, there was no anxiousness, none of that. She just immediately called Meathead and he handled it. You know, same as I would do for his kids. That's the kind of thing that I think we undervalue in life. We don't put enough weight into it because we don't really think about it until it happens. You know, like I said, there's guys right here in my chat that if she knew how to get a hold of, I'm sure one of y'all would have, you know, done the exact same thing he did and helped her out. But my point is, when I didn't answer the phone, she didn't have to be scared. She didn't have to be nervous or worried because she had that next phone number already. You know, and they don't talk a whole lot. They don't see each other very much. But she knew if she called Meathead, he would fix that situation. And of course he did. Man, you can't put a price on that shit. Maybe I'm being a little emotional today, a little tender-hearted, whatever. But I don't know what I'd do without him. This ain't gonna be a very long live stream. I really just wanted to come shape those few knives, get them shaped out so I could get pins in them, start getting them hand sanded, all that good stuff. So I've kind of accomplished that already. I've got a little more work I can do, but I wanted to clean up all that carbon fiber dust. I don't even know whose kid it is. So you don't have a kid this young, but there are several, looks like anywhere from 6 to 10-year-olds Christmas presents sitting around the shop in here, half covered up. And I don't want them to show up a couple days before Christmas getting ready to wrap them and all of them be covered in carbon fiber dust. So that's why Daddy is the way it is. And I've not done a very good job. And I promise you, it's not out of lack of appreciation for what he does for me. It's mostly health related, but I've not done a very good job of cleaning up after myself and taking as good a care of what Meathead has allowed me to use as I should. So trying to get better about that. While I'm here, just gonna draw out a set of scales on this Tiffany G10. I'm gonna cut them out and get them shaped because I had one that I fucked up. Ruined some really nice Hanson & Sons micarta, of it. It is what it is. So then apparently I'm gonna have to go back home and reattach these, but I'm just now realizing I don't think I sanded this good enough. I used this sander at home with 120 grit, but it's one of those vibratory sanders, and I think it just makes it too slick. Like, it needs a little rougher texture for that epoxy to dig into and really get a good bite. And the only reason they popped off was the same reason I had to drill the pins out. I had to drill the pins out because I didn't get them quite perfectly lined up, so the pins were bound and they wouldn't back out. So when I went to drill it, I wasn't drilling dead center of the hole. I was off just a hair. So when it hit that hardened steel, it bit and popped the scale off. But I can fix it. Oh, man. What you guys been up to? I ain't really had a chance to look at chat. Those are for you, Shane. Marco, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. You're right, Crispy. Family isn't always blood. You know, I've known a lot of people, man. I've hung out with a lot of people, spent a lot of time with a lot of people in my life that I called friends. But, you know, if you asked me which one I thought would stand right there beside me, you know, at a very high chance of taking a bullet with me, it's Meathead. I hope everybody's got that friend in life, because I've been really fortunate that I have one. It's a good thing he's as tough as he is. I don't know how it happens or why. Man, me and that guy always end up in some stupid situation we shouldn't have been in, at the risk of serious physical injury, death, or jail. But I guess the good Lord just looks after idiots. He's took pretty good care of us. Now, what it is about that metal blade, it cuts good, but it seems like there's one particular section in it that's way more aggressive than the rest. There's a call Coonley. Mayhew. Is Mayhew in here? It's shuttering, it's the blade. It's like there's one section in it. Like it'll be cutting the same speed and all smooth, and all of a sudden it'll just, it'll just take out a huge chunk. It's just like that one part of the blade sharper or more aggressive than the rest. Sorry I'm a little low energy today, guys. It is what it is. That's not the knife I'm looking for. I gotta get one of these knives sharpened so I got something sharp here at the shop. Everything I make and get sharp goes out to somebody else. No, that's not really true. They don't really leave here sharp. They don't get sharp till they get the call. You know, every maker I know is like, man, you're gonna have to learn how to belt sharpen. I get it. I understand what they're saying, but I really don't want them. I don't want my knives ever touching a belt, or at least the edge ever touching a belt. I feel much better about it that I know I never overheated an edge. I guess I have to put my glasses back on. I can't read the damn chat. I'm getting blind. I've been awake trying to get my heat fixed finally. I hear you call. Shitty time to do you without heat. I don't think Javon's got heat either. I think his heat went out. My heat ain't working right, but I ain't gonna complain because it's working. All I'm doing here is I took a piece of two-sided tape. I taped both of these together. He beats me with a belt. I don't sharpen it up. So when you come into visits, I can take you up. Sorry, Pastor Del Soto. I'd love to, man, but I don't know that I'll ever have the money. I watched a documentary on this place called the Soto, and it's really cool, guys. It's in South Africa. And I know Gareth could tell you more about it than I can, but what was amazing to me is how you can tell them what town that is at the foot of the mountain. But there's like this huge metropolis, this big city. It's all modernized, you know, internet, public transport, trains. It's a nice, beautiful, modern looking town. And then 10 kilometers, that's what, 6 miles away up this windy ass dirt road. You get up on top of this plateau, and I think it's about, if I ain't mistaken, it's like 6,000 or 7,000 feet up. And on top of this plateau is this village of, I don't know what they call themselves, but there's these villagers that live up there that have nothing. Like there's no running, there's no electricity. It's like, you know, they're living 300 years in the past, and they seem super happy, probably happier than the people down in the city, in all honesty. But it's just amazing that they're that close to one another. Like you can look up, you know, it's up there, and up there, you know, just up above you is this whole civilization of people living a completely different life, and that just, I don't know, man, it blows my mind to think about. You know, we know that exists, but it's always thousands of miles away, and there, it's literally 6 or 7 miles away. I'm sure a lot of people would watch that and think, you know, because of the racial difference, they would think, oh, those poor people, you know, they're right there so close. but they don't have the same amenities. I'd be willing to bet you, though, that, now I don't know that much about their culture, but yeah, I wouldn't want to find out that they're all starving to death and having a heart. They didn't look like it, but I'd be willing to bet you that those people are just as happy, possibly even happier than those folks down in the city. Now I am cutting off another piece of two-sided tape and sticking it on the outside, and then I'm going to stick the knife to it so that I can pre-drill my holes and everything so that it all lines up. This is something new, kind of a new part of the process that I've just started doing that Kyle's been after me to do for a year. And I fought it tooth and nail. It does take a little more time to like set it up. But the end result is always way, way better. You know, I hate to admit when he's right because he's an asshole, but he was right. Now, the knife is attached to that. So when I go over and drill my holes, I'll know they'll be lined up. And all I gotta do is clean up the metal, run it across that 36 grit, get a little scratchy so my epoxy sticks better. Get these shaped up and put on. I was supposed to already be done with all these. I was supposed to, you know, because I had to take those back off. Kind of had to back up a little bit, but it's all right. That's just how it be. I know Paul Mills would certainly like to have his knife sometime soon, though. So now I know that my holes line up. Two things we agree upon. I'm an asshole and I'm always right. As bad as I hate to admit it, Kyle, you are right. I'm not going to say always because I'd have to really dig deep and research that, but an alarmingly high amount of the time. Now I can pop that off. Take this piece of tape back off. I still got to shape where the scales meet the ricasso. So donkeys get taken from South Africa, led up to Lesotho, then packed full of mountain cap age and sent home by itself. The cops can't arrest a donkey. That's awesome. I don't know what. Oh, weed. Okay. So they're up there growing weed. Yeah, so they are probably pretty happy. They're up there growing weed, and they've got these donkeys trained to just walk it down the mountain. Somebody takes it off, and the donkey just walks back up on its own. That's pretty ingenious. Do those people in Lesotho, though, do they even fall under the same rule of law down in the town beneath them? Gareth, I know you said you have visited Lesotho, so is that why you went up there? Was you skipping the middle donkey? It's a different country, yeah, see? And it's literally closer than I am to my house right now. Like, I'm 15 miles away. That's not even 10 miles from this. And I mean, this is like an urban center. I think he put the name of the town. I didn't see it. But. So now, as you see, this is pre-shaped. So I can take this home and mount it up like so. Bring it back here in a couple of days, finish shaping it, put pins in it, and that'll be done. So I'm pretty happy about that. Got a bunch of hand sanding to do. This is DH's kitchen knife. I don't know if you guys have seen DH. He stops by every now and then, but I got to get that done, get it off to him. I got to get Aiden's. Yep, got to get Aiden's done. They don't like much. Oh, I got you, Gareth. I don't have anything against it, but I'm not a big proponent of marijuana either. It makes me too stupid. You know, I know people that can smoke it all day and, you know, work a normal job and do just fine. I'm not one of those people. That and nothing makes me feel like that fifth beer or third or fourth margarita in. That's the greatest feeling to me. I don't do it very often, but it's just not the same. You know, I hear people say, I'd rather smoke weed than the drink. Hey man, to each their own, but I'm just not a huge fan of how it makes me feel. I can do it every now and then. Anyway, I about got this one cleaned up so I can take it home and get handles on it. I'm not going to be here much longer. It's just kind of become a habit. If I come here, I like to have the camera on. Doesn't make me feel as lonely. When Shane smokes weed, his head goes even bigger and can't fit in backyards. Plus he does. He goes broke behind fudge rounds. You're 100% right. And I can't be having no fudge rounds no more. Those days are over. I got some really crushing news. It's really affected me pretty negatively. I hadn't really talked about it to many people, just people I'm close to. But this whole foot thing, I thought it was odd that couldn't remember injuring myself or, what caused it to be broken like this. And I recently found out that it's my fault. It's, my foot's in the shape that it's in. It is broken, but the bones are all broken up like that because of my neuropathy, which is because of my diabetes. I didn't even know that was a possibility. Like I knew people with diabetes, if they get a cut on their foot, they have slow healing. I didn't know it could cause your bones to break, but it can, and it did. So I've been pretty upset about that. Knowing that my stupidity led to this, and that's why there's not much that can be done. Even if they go in and try to operate and put pins in it and all that stuff, which puts me at a really high risk of the incision not healing. The nerves are dead, so it's just gonna happen again. So kind of stuck this way, I guess. I ain't gonna lie, I've been pretty depressed about it. But it's time to put my boots back on, suck it up. It's gonna be in a little more pain than I'm used to. But it's not gonna cause me to quit making, because I love this too much to just quit doing it. So anyway, I'm gonna take this crap home so that I can start some epoxying. Well, no, there is one other thing I could do while I'm here. I've got lanyard tubes I need to get cut up. so I can put them in when I get home too. Let me grab that. If I can find it. Well, I know I've got some here somewhere, but once again, I don't know what I did with it. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4 that don't have lanyard tubes. Is that a piece? Nope. These 6 do have lanyard tubes. So that's good. But I need 4 more pieces. I know I've got it. Just don't know what I've done with it. Just a little metal stick like this, but this one's solid. I've got some hollow to do lanyard tubes. Guess I keep looking. Gotta be here somewhere. None of them's it. Is that one? Shit, no. I know I haven't used it all. I bought a whole pack of like 1 foot long hollow stainless steel rods. Damn if I know what I did with them. I don't know what the fuck I did with it. You know, one of my favorite things in the world to do is setting stuff up and organizing it. But I am completely incapable of maintaining that. You know, I like to put up shelving and organize all the bolts and nuts and washers and love that shit. But like I said, I will destroy it in a matter of a couple of weeks and it'll never be back again. I wonder what these steels are. There's some S90V, some Magnecut, some more S90V, some more Magnecut. I got steel running out my ears. Maybe it's, I took a bag of stuff home with me. Maybe that's where it's at. Anyway, I'm gonna put this Scotch-Brite belt on. clean these blades up and tape them up so they don't get all marred up anymore when I get them home. Yeah, that's one cool thing about the internet. You know, I was just talking about, I discovered this place on YouTube, and my first thought was, I wonder if Gareth is close to there. Now, used to you had no connection to these places, but now we do. All right, guys, I'm gonna box up what I've got, take them home and do what epoxy work I have to do there. And then I'll be back in a couple days. I've got several doctor's appointments coming up, so. I got wire from the wire wheel. You got wire from the wire wheel where, Christina? Anyway, you guys have a good one. I'm headed home. I got more work to do there. I was just gonna knock out what I could while I was here. We'll never plan on being here long anyway, so. Yeah, just part of the process now. Y'all have a good one.